Alright, welcome back to the Flash reviews, and this was a pretty good episode. A little weak on the Freak of the Week kind of story, but the main story was actually really good. And again, am I the only person left in the world who likes Eddie Thawne? Gonna say yes. Because he's pretty much this he's pretty much this show's equivalent to Tommy from Arrow. And, you know, anyway, so this episode was, again, we got to see another team up with characters from Arrow, only this one made a lot more sense. This one made well, okay, let me back up and say that, it's a little when Laurel shows up, but I can buy Captain Lance being like this, because, you know, he thought he had the arrow, and nope, no, he don't. Oh well, got another day at the office, I guess. Laurel just shows up, and I'm like, why aren't you hanging, you know, I guess you gotta keep up appearances. That's the only thing I can fathom. But it makes more sense, because, you know, Laurel has an outside job where she's not dating anyone, and either fighting crime or training with Nyssa, and Captain Lance is just around. And again, maybe I was hoping for a bit much, because I was thinking, oh yeah, Captain Lance and Joe are gonna team up, this is awesome! I think I got my expectations too high. But not to say it's anything bad, I just felt like Lance was just a little underwhelmed by everything in here. But I do like the conversation he has with Joe regarding their daughters. I really did like that. And again, I think this is another episode where Eddie shines. This is another episode where the character of Eddie gets to shine, and yeah, he's kind of almost at the point of like, look, I'm gonna tell Iris that you're the Flash and what's going on, and you, unless I get some hard evidence here. And yeah, this is him dealing with it, and him being kind of like Barry's Gordon almost. He's almost like, yeah, he's kind of like Barry's Gordon, and I'm still under the impression that he's really, you know, Malcolm Thawne, aka Cobalt Blue. But if that's revealed, I'll be like happy and sad at the same time, because I know he's going to turn into a villain. Anyway, but where was I going with this? Well, let's talk about the Freak of the Week kind of story, the Everyman, Hannibal Bates. First off, Hannibal Bates, really? You put Hannibal, as in Hannibal and, you know, Hannibal Lecter and Norman Bates together. I have a feeling that Jeff Johns, I know he probably, did he make this villain? I don't know. Everyman is just such a villain I don't care about. He's such a, like, I'll just call him Not Mystique. Because Not Mystique is he's just kind of this, I'm evil and I like being other people. Yeah. That's what he sounds like to me. But admittedly, I will say that whole reveal of what he really looks like is kind of like really, it's really sad. At the same time, you almost feel bad for him, but on the other hand, it's a cool little reveal. But at the same time, I kind of felt a little like I was half expecting that. There was a part of me that, because usually with a lot of these shapeshifter stories, they don't like being themselves unless their name is Mystique. They don't like being themselves very often. So, yeah, there was a part of me that was half expecting that kind of ending with his story. And, yeah, I also felt like this could have all been avoided, this whole thing could have been avoided if we found out a little faster in the research that Barry could actually touch this character, this villain, without fearing this person's speed. His super speed could be absorbed. Sorry for that little hiccup there. Yeah, I feel like this could have been avoided if we learned faster about this. And then, you know, the whole story of, you know, Eddie being nearly thrown in prison as a as a subplot. And I was like, that could have been avoided. But now we can all put that whole fear of Eddie gunning down those cops to rest, because that wasn't really him. I do also like that when Barry actually grabs Eddie and tries to run out with him, he's like, look, you tried this before, this isn't like with your dad, if I run now, it's going to look so bad, and being fired is the last of my worries. I could be thrown in prison, and you're not going to be able to help anybody, and think of Iris, think of, you know, everything. So I like that Eddie is like, look, you tried to do the same thing, you know, you wanted to do the same thing with your father, but, you know, this isn't going to help me at all. I understand that, and, you know, help me in the right way, the same way you're trying to help your dad. And again, I really do like how Eddie's situation And you could say, oh, Barry was being impulsive, and in a way he was, but on the other hand, when Eddie says, look, I'm going to be thrown in prison for something I didn't do, for something I can't even explain, and that just sets Barry off, because that's exactly why his father's in prison, so you can imagine that could probably set someone off in the wrong way for, for something like that happening. So I don't really blame Barry for acting like that, because again, he even says, look, I don't want this to happen, not again, to Eddie. So, but again, I do like how Eddie's the one to be the cool head in the situation and just be like, look, I run now, it's gonna look so bad, and it won't even matter if I'm convicted or not for this murder this possible murder I did or did not commit. It doesn't matter. If I ran, that would be a done deal for me. I'd lose my career, I'd be in prison, and I'd be away from Iris. So you've got to do this the detective sort of way. So that I think that was my favorite moment with Eddie telling Barry, you can't just fix things with super speed most of the time. Also, that really pissed me off, the whole kiss thing between not Barry and Caitlin. Really hated that kiss scene between Everyman pretending to be Barry and Caitlin, and I was just thinking, oh god damn it, the fandom. You know it's going to come back. Oh, damn it. I hate it. I really do. Because I was kind of hoping she would break away and not kiss back. I was really hoping she'd, break away or slap him or something. I was really hoping for that. Because, your boyfriend, your fiance's still out there. Granted, he's fused to somebody else and it's now running around this firestorm. But still, your boy's out there, Caitlin. Don't do this. Anyway. So getting back to Cisco and Joe's adventure in Starling City, by the way, how far is Starling City from Central City? Really curious to know. Really curious. Is it like a half-hour drive or something? I don't know. Anyway, so that was really cool. Also seeing Laurel hang out with Cisco and Cisco creating the canary cry. I thought that was a nice little tidbit, and them discovering the real Harrison Wells body. That was really morbid, and yeah, when they find out it's the real Harrison Wells, oh my god. And then the big shocker in this episode was Cisco, Caitlin, and Barry discovering, Eobard Thawne's secret room. And I'm like, why didn't you find this sooner, Cisco? You were running all these diagnostics and then now you just find this room? What the hell? Actually, no, he did explain that he was just focusing solely on the pipes, and now he wanted to expand the search. Okay, I can actually buy that, because he was only focused on one thing in this little simulation, and now he's expanding it to other parts. So I was like, okay, you get a pass there, but I feel like you should have expanded your search there a little earlier there, Cisco. Anyway, so yeah, they also now have knowledge of Barry vanishing in the year 2024. They now have that knowledge, and are now completely terrified of what Harrison Wells really is. Of course, we know Harrison Wells is really Eobard Thawne, but it's going to be really interesting to see that story come to light. Also, I really also like the Coast City reference at the beginning of this episode. I was like, Coast City! We're not going to get Green Lantern. God damn it. Anyway, but I was like, Coast City! At the beginning, and I know my good friend Coolio Vids 101 will be like, Coast City, that's amazing! It doesn't have Hal. Yeah. Really good episode. I really enjoyed the stuff of, even though the Everyman story was pretty weak, but I did like that final fight scene between Barry and, the Flash and Everyman, and more or less him saying, you have my looks, but you don't have my speed, and proceeds to pummel Everyman in his super speed form. And I just said to myself, heroic brutality. The Flash wins. I never thought I'd mention MK versus DC on here. Well, I have, but I never thought I'd do it in an actual review. Anyway, so that's pretty much the episode. Again, really good. The whole Harrison Wells mystery was really well done. Really excited for next week's episode, because it looks like next week's episode, shit's really gonna hit the fan. But anyway, you guys tell me, what did you all think of this episode? Did you guys like it? Hate it? Just comment below, let me know what you guys thought. Once again, I hope you all enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys later.